Hey everyone, my name is Praying for Exits. I run a venture capital fund in California where I invest in early stage technology companies. More recently, I've started something called Exits Media, which is going to be focused on telling the best stories around early stage technologists and the people who invest in them. Today we're talking about fundraising, and I will be giving you my own personal best tips and tricks to be able to turn just an idea into something that people want to invest in. The first piece of advice I would have for you is doing deep market research on the idea that you have. I think that it's really important, and a lot of founders don't do this, is to remember that the people that are investing in you, while they might say that they're looking to change the world and all of these other things, the primary focus of what they do is to make money. And so I think that it's always important to present your ideas in a way that are specifically focused on how this could be valuable for not only you, not only the world, but from a capitalistic perspective for your investors as well. And so with that in mind, a good rule of thumb is to look for markets that are especially large and seem especially broken. Things that don't work very well, or things in your own life that you just really dislike interacting with, are good places to start. But that's not always the case as to what a great idea might be. But I do think that the framework of having an idea that solves a very large problem and being able to articulate why that large problem will make money for everybody involved is a really great place to start. Improving on ideas that you see out there in the world that you find interesting is also another great place to start. Startups are really hard, and if you're not doing something that you're interested in, it's much more likely that you're going to give up on the idea. And so a great place to start is you, your friends, the people around you. What are things that they're interested in, and how could you make them better? A good thing to remember is that each individual venture fund or investor has their own thing that they're really good at. Some people are really good at investing in machines and things that would be considered like hard tech. Some people are really good at investing in things like software, and some people are really good at investing in things that are physical businesses. I think it's really important when you're going out to find an investor that you proactively find the people that would give you the best chance of success for your specific idea. A lot of people post kind of their thoughts and theses around what they like to invest in on LinkedIn, and you can kind of go and build a list of people that would have the highest level of conversion for your specific idea. The best way to get the attention of an investor is through your network. Sometimes this is really hard if you don't specifically know anybody who works in technology or venture capital, but what's great about 2023, or whenever you might be watching this, is that social media has become a great conduit to meet people that you've never met before, and it seems to amplify ideas that are really big and really powerful quite well. I've seen a lot of people very successfully with no network build a network by creating a aesthetic or perspective that a lot of people really believe in online, and then that brings the attention of investors. So a great way, if you don't have a network, to kind of start the process of finding really interesting people is putting your ideas out there, magnetizing a group of people together that also care about these ideas, and using them as a starting network to get your ideas into the right places where people might want to support them. I think right now, the most obvious thing is Twitter. Venture capitalists spend quite a lot of time on Twitter, both posting and consuming information. It's become the town square of venture capital in a lot of ways. And so if I were to start all over, I would probably spend most of my time on Twitter, writing about things that I deeply care about and finding the other people that also really deeply care about them. Although increasingly, things like TikTok and YouTube seem to have become additional benefit to a lot of founders, as the algorithm tends to push things towards people like-minded to them. If you want to stand out in venture capital, I think it's genuinely pretty easy. I think that you just have to have ideas that are actually different. And so the most individualistic people tend to do the best in venture capital because it's the individual ideas that tend to have the biggest returns. I think that finding individual perspectives and things that nobody else cares about is a really special way, and something that Silicon Valley has looked at really positively for the entirety of its existence. For instance, something that caught my attention not too long ago was a friend emailed me and said, hey, I have a roommate actually who is trying to buy a 150mm artillery cannon because he's looking to change the weather. That's the type of thing that you kind of look into because you don't really hear that too much. And so that kind of goes back to this idea of having these very individualized perspectives. There's about one person in the entire world that I know about that cares about firing cannons into clouds more than this person. And so I think that if you can just really be yourself and really lean into the things that you deeply care about, other people will also feel the same way once they understand how passionate you are for your idea. I think a very undervalued place to spend your time thinking is on the macroeconomic state of the world. I think that if you can understand the trends that are happening around the world, it's really important to figure out where the puck is going versus where it is now. And the best lens to do that with is by having a broad understanding of politics, economics, and just generally how the world functions. I think that if you have a really good sense of that, you can start to look around corners and see things that other people might not and place your bets there. One other thing that I would recommend is to have have a group of people, some people call it an advisory board, some people just call it the homies helping out. Have a group of people that deeply care about the idea in the same way that you do, and make sure that they're actually helpful. And if you have this group around you before you go out and raise money, it shows that not only are you able to build your own network and utilize them in a proactive and productive way, but it also shows that you're not doing this alone. I think for investors, it becomes extremely scary when people try to go out and do these ideas alone, because more often than not, those tend to not work out, because running a startup is a variety of different problems every single day. And while there are some people out there who probably can do it, most people can't. And having friends and coworkers and confidants and just a group of people that really care about your success in the same way that you do ticks a lot of boxes for investors and makes us feel like there's a lot more support there for you and for your company. And with that being said, those are some of the best ways that I know how to get money into your startup. If you found that useful or interesting, click here and you can see a video on how venture capitalists like me make millions, if not billions of dollars from investing in tech companies. As always, like, subscribe, and if you have other ideas of things that we could be helpful with or shed some light on when it comes to startups or raising money or venture capital, drop a comment below and we'll make sure to make a video about it.